Well, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We're going to do a little checking of the worms today and see what they're up to, and I'm going to show you what I'm up to. So this is the African Nightcrawler tub, and the castings here are still drying. But look how funny. When the castings start drying out, see all those little white things walking around? Those are springtails. I noticed that when I start drying out my tubs, the springtails come to the surface, because if this tub dries out entirely, they will disappear. So I noticed that they just start coming up to the surface. And what I do is I just keep mixing up the castings. I just keep mixing them. And eventually they'll dry enough for me to put them through my sifter. But African nightcrawlers make really dark castings, especially when they eat a lot of leaf litter. So in this tub, I'm doing like the migration sideways. So I've been fluffing this and drying it and putting food over here. And the majority of them are just migrating. So let's see what they're doing down here. I have not seen them. And as you can see movement immediately. And I'm not sure what this is. It's probably that avocado seed or mango seed I put here in the corner. Oh, look, it's the mango seed. This goes to show you how fertile castings are, because it's sprouting. But anyway, let's look down here and just see a lot of springtails. A lot of them. So what I do with these little springtails is I just leave them here. And when I need to use them in my hermit crab tank, I take them and I sprinkle them in there. And they help with the mold and moisture, and they just eat all the little things. But look at them. But these African nightcrawlers, yeah, they're definitely like coming this way. And look at this. This is a zucchini I had found in my garden, and they're hollowing it out. You know, African nightcrawlers, sometimes they take a little bit to jump into a food. But once they do, they're all over it. And believe it or not, I've had African nightcrawlers where I have put strawberries in the bin and they won't touch it. And I don't know why. And I'm not talking about the strawberries I grow in my garden. I'm talking about the ones I buy at the store. But look at them. They're just gorgeous. And they're definitely migrating from that side of the tub to this one. So I'm going to bury these bananas a little bit, because I don't want any flying little gnats in here. But look, this is like the divider line right here, more or less. And you can see that they're all in here. So it's doing its job. I'm not going to give them any chow, because they have like the food. But I do cover this so this stays moist and this part dries out. So the majority are going to go that way. But even though I dig here, there will be some that just stick around. Like they don't get it. They didn't get the memo. Hey, move that way. Eventually they will. But there'll always be some that are like too stubborn to go. African nightcrawlers are the most stubborn worms I have ever worked with. Blue worms are stubborn too. But I haven't had those worms in like 15 years. So, and I don't want them. They're a pain in the butt. So let's check out this African nightcrawler tub here. So guys, my website is back up and running. I am slowly adding not only my worm stuff, but my hermit crab stuff, because you know I do both. I am selling again African nightcrawlers. They're coming from my supplier. And I did team up with Steve from the Urban Worm Company and getting red wigglers from him, and he'll be supplying my red wigglers. And I know that Steve's worms are pure stock and the quality is excellent, and he's a great businessman. So I'll be putting those live soon, the red wigglers. But the African nightcrawlers are ready to go. And this winter or spring, I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. I might sell off some of this casting with the cocoons already in it. So all you have to do is get this casting and keep it in a bin damp like that, and eventually the cocoons will hatch. So, and it's a great affordable way to, you know, start a little bin if you want to just give it a go. And then you can take the castings and use them in plants or dump them in your gardens. But, and I've always called those starter colonies. But, you know, a starter colony is something that takes a lot of patience. If you want worms immediately, it's not for you. It's something to get set up and watch, and as long as you keep it moist, cocoons hatch. If you let it dry out, they're gonna die. And those are just the facts. All right, so this is the Woodstock tub. You know, I have 4 species of worms in here, but my pumpkin experiment, y'all, I don't know. We're gonna open this and we're gonna look, but I'm seeing mold and I see the pumpkin kind of going lopsided. So let's see what's gonna happen in here. You know, I'm known to do these experiments, and I have pushed worms to the brink where I've almost lost them, but then I know how to bring them back. So we'll see. We will see. Let me remove this plastic, and oh my gosh, this is looking gnarly. Look at that. Ugh. And I've been collecting leaf litter. They love leaf litter. So let's see. Oh, look. Let's see what's up with this. Okay, I'm going to push it and we're going to look under it. Oh, man. Look, it's just pure mush, but they love it. They love it, and look at that. African Nightcrawler, Euro. Oh my gosh, that's a nice European Nightcrawler right there, with a little baby African Nightcrawler next to it. But look. Ooh. They're definitely enjoying this. The juices that fall from this and go in there. Yeah, remember I told you they have a sweet tooth. So let's look in here on the edge and see them all. Look at that. You know, I set up this tub, and I did this years ago, but wondering if one of the species will take over the species, another species, because one time I did this in a tower, and my red wigglers took over the European Nightcrawlers. Like, the European Nightcrawlers disappeared. So I was wondering if something this big, will the same thing happen? And so far, I don't see it happening. I see all the species of worms that I put in here, which are the 4. So I don't see anyone overtaking anyone. That's a nice African Nightcrawler right there. So the reason I add paper is because African Nightcrawlers, they love paper, cardboard, junk mail, leaves. They love the carbon in these things, and they do well when you provide them things like that. I have raised African Nightcrawlers in bedding only without any cardboard, and they just don't thrive. That's just nature. Sometimes you're not going to change nature. Nature will do what it wants. But sometimes you just have to, like, go with the flow and just give it what it wants to be successful. So check out my website. I got new things going up and going there. And I'm building it up slowly again. thegardenandwormlady.com. Look at that. They're just, this is amazing. Before you know it, this will all be castings. This is really gross. Oh my gosh, look at that. So I'm just going to put it back here. And we're going to just... That's so gross. We're going to just let them keep going here. Let's cover Mr. Pumpkin up again. I didn't mix over here. This is a little dry, but I know that this provides some kind of moisture, and I feel that moisture, so I'm not worried. So that's interesting. So this will eventually it'll disappear eventually. So we're going to keep an eye on that. All right, my loves, let's move over to the Louisiana swamp worms. I did give them a banana the other day, and I left it on the surface because I just want to see what they're doing. And there are things sprouting in here. So this goes to show you how fertile and beautiful worm castings are. Let's dig. Oh, okay. The bottom is gone. There was a pumpkin there. And let's dig down here. Let's just see. They're little, but they are so beautiful and they are amazing. They're just loving this pumpkin. Oh, look, a worm ball. How cute. So these are Louisiana swamp worms. A lot of people call them swampers. I like to call them swampers. I think they're adorable. I love them. I love them. I love them. Look at that. So they're just enjoying that pumpkin. I'm going to take the pumpkin stump and I'm just going to bury it. And then we'll just let it do its thing. And when these things grow like this, don't throw them out. Just take them, break them a little bit like that and toss it. And it just becomes extra worm food. So let's come over here. I don't see anything there. They're just working through all this. Look at that. That's beautiful. You notice how the castings are in as dark as the African nightcrawler? So when I sift castings and I start drying them, sometimes I like to blend them because it gives it like, some castings are lighter, some castings are darker. I mean, nature is nature. You're never going to stop that or change it. And depends on what you feed. But I just think it looks cool. But it doesn't diminish the quality, the color of it. A casting is a casting. It's just different species of worms just do different things. But the quality of the casting is still like amazing. So I'm going to bury their banana because bananas, as you all know, you know, they have little flying insects sometimes. The last video I showed you, we found some breeding in here, which was amazing. Which means there are more cocoons and babies. So, yay! This is another thing. If I wanted to sell like this as a starter colony, like the castings with the cocoons in it, you know, you would have to set them up in a bin and just be patient and wait for them to hatch. Keep them covered as long as you keep them wet. But, you know, I did sell a few starter colonies, but I stopped for a while because people just weren't understanding. Like, they expected like a pound of worms in the starter colony, and that's not what a starter colony is. And I was explaining to them that, you know, you have to wait for the cocoons to hatch. And people weren't reading the description, I guess, and weren't getting it. So I took them off the market because I got really annoyed with it. So I might bring them back. But, you know, if stuff like that starts happening again, then I just won't sell them. Right. Let's check out my red wigglers. These guys... Again, I gave them a pumpkin piece. And look what is left of the pumpkin. We got some skin. And something sprouted. One of the seeds. It's amazing. I love these little guys. Look at them. They're young. So if I were to do a starter colony, this is what I would do. I would, you know, fluff this up. And then I would take some of this and just throw it in mix it with peat moss for shipping and throw it in a box. Sometimes it had worms in it. Sometimes it didn't. That's the thing of a starter colony. If I could sell this for, I think I was selling them for $9.99 plus shipping or $12.99 plus shipping. I mean, for pure red wigglers, that's like a bargain. And, you know, so I don't know. You all let me know what you want, if you want them, if you're interested. If you're not, then you're not, and that's okay. I just won't do it. or I'll do it in smaller scales for people that, you know, actually know what's going on. But newbies that want to get started with worms, you know, and you don't want to wait, then don't buy a colony. So look at the skin of the pumpkin here. That is amazing. This is what's left. Wow. So anyway, just fluff them up. Let's check the bin next to them. So these are also red wigglers. Again, they've eaten the pumpkin. They'll eat this. I'll just leave it. And this is what's left. So they're doing great. Look how cute they are. They're little guys, but they are mighty. Don't think because they're little they will not compost. Oh, they sure will. Look at them. So anyway, guys, thank you to all the new subscribers. Watch and share our videos with family and friends. Check out my website, The Garden and Worm Lady. I usually ship on Tuesdays. But if there's a delay in the weather, like winter's coming, I hold the worms. I won't ship. I just don't want them to get hurt. But if that happens, I will be in contact with you. But anyway, I'll see you all next time. Take care.